Hey, it's Kevin. Thank you so much for coming by for another No BS social media chat. We've been doing these chats now almost 4 years, week in, week out, trying to give you usable, actionable, basic social media details. And I use the word basics, you can almost put it in quotes, because I think it's important that we master the basics before we try anything else. That kind of makes sense. And I also know that, let's be honest, if you're an advanced social media user, if you're using advanced tools, if you're having software created for you to bring analytics and tools to help you do your job, okay, you're not going to be watching this video anyway. But one thing I've noticed is that in the course of the last 10 plus years, I've been working full time in social media. For the last 4 years that we've been bringing you these videos, while some things, some little details have changed, a lot really hasn't. Sure, you know what? Snapchat wasn't a big deal. Was it even here 4 years ago? I think it was here, but it was just getting started and nobody was using it. Now, Snapchat's pretty popular. Instagram has just blown up, it just blossomed, and is now one of the most influential social sites. Of course, Facebook's still number one, but 10 years ago when we started, it was all MySpace. People who really knew about social media knew about Friendster, were actually on Friendster, but by the time even I got involved back in, 2005, 2006, Friendster was almost dead by that point. Yeah, of course, now MySpace, while it's still there, have you been on MySpace lately? Do you still have a MySpace page? So while maybe some of the sites have changed a little bit in 10 years, in a decade, a lot hasn't changed. And really what's not changed is the basic need to communicate one-to-one. There's so many people who are trying to game the social media system, who are trying to game, gaining fans, followers, friends, whatever they're called, whatever platform you're using. They're just trying to boost the numbers without necessarily boosting the work, and more importantly, without actually, really doing what's necessary. And we're not talking about big companies here, but and I'm going to talk about that next week when we talk about being a person versus being a company versus being a brand. We've talked about personal branding before, and it's one thing to stay on message. If you're certain kind of person, if you have certain likes and loves and everything like that, people expect that from you, and you can't just change in midstream just because it's not necessarily the popular thing. If you're a very liberal person, you can't start being pro-Trump today because the people who followed you because you were liberal, because that's why they were connecting with you, are going to cry foul. And I'm not saying anything, this is about politics. This is about basic social media connections. What's changed? Well, 4 years ago when we started this, I think 8, 9 years ago when I coined the term, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and I'm sure I wasn't the first person to say it. I know I was the first person around here to say that social media was a marathon and not a sprint. I'm still saying it today. In fact, I had a meeting last week, and what came out of my mouth? It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. But what's amazed me too is that the band I was meeting with, a band of gentlemen who were just finally putting their first album together, they've been musicians for a long time. Well, what's the Facebook page? Well, we've got one started, but we haven't posted it yet. Twitter? No. YouTube? Well, we're thinking about getting one. And I just, wow. Website? Well, yeah, we've got one. It's not ready to go yet. We've got it started. And that just amazed me because you take it for granted anymore that if you're going to market a music project, market yourself, market you as a brand, as a personality, whatever it is, market your small business, whatever, market your charity, you're going to have a website and a Facebook page and an Instagram account and a YouTube channel, and even a Twitter feed. Now, you know what? You may not be a Twitter fan, and so you're like, well, I'll have it, but I'm really not going to use it. You may repurpose content from another site, and again, that's more strategic for each individual person. But at the end of the day, the big four really haven't changed in the last, 4 years for sure, probably in the last six years maybe. Yeah, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. They've been around a lot longer. Back in the old days, maybe MySpace was number 4 or was even number 1 and then kind of slid back down the ring. And then Instagram came on and took it over. But right now, in the last 4 or 5 years, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, not necessarily in that order. That's just alphabetical order. But Facebook by far, still the most important. Facebook, every time somebody makes or adds a new feature, Facebook's right on it. Instagram, now owned by Facebook, takes on Snapchat roles and is trying to minimize their competition. And that's what big companies do, whether it's Google or Microsoft or Amazon or any of these big conglomerates. If they see a competitor do something, they let the competitor get started, they let them figure it out, and they go, okay, let's just swoop in, add that feature to us, and because we've got so much more mass appeal, we'll take it on. Well, that's business. That's America. That's how things have always been. Nothing's changed there. So really, in the last 4 years we've been doing these videos, what's changed? Not much. The need to connect one-on-one each and every day. And again, it's tough to do the one-on-one thing, and I understand that. But you need to really piece it together. You really need to figure it out. You really need to realize that the basics 4 years ago are still the basics today. Get started. Every day you wait is a day you'll never get back. We're back next week with another No BS social media chat. You can find us online, nobssocial.com. That's where we have all the videos. Post them up on YouTube, post them up a couple places on Facebook. That's cool if you want to watch the videos. If you want to connect with us, though, go to our website, intensitymedia.net, intensitymedia.com. We've got all the Intensity Media sites as well. You want to connect with me one-on-one? Real simple. Phone number, email address. It's all coming up here at the end of the video. Reach out. Let's chat. Thanks. See you next week.